We'll see if anybody joins up. Click on that. Click on the link. All right. Cool. We'll see if anyone joins up. We're live now, so. Give it a minute or two. Yo, what's going on to a couple of viewers in here? Hope you guys are all doing well. We've got 6 people in here. Big ups to everyone. Foul says, "What's up, Lewis? Hope you're good, man. What fights are you excited for most? For me, it's Aguilar versus Estevam and Zalal." So, you're interested in some like kind of interesting matchups, right? Because you're interested in some guys where they're big, heavy favorites. You know, they're expected to win. For me, you know, probably the most looking forward to the main event. And, you know, I'm kind of intrigued to see how Angela Hill versus Ketan Souza plays out. I know it's a bit of an unorthodox answer, but just wondering if Hill's on the way out or not. I don't think there's any audio issues, any hiccups. Hopefully not anyways. That's the worst, man, when you start speaking. Don't know about you guys, man, but yeah. Caught cold this week. That was brutal. Got better yesterday. Had a tire puncture on the way to the gym. So yeah, it's been a bad one. Hill would have been a good bet, but she looked very bad last time. I mean, it's one of those where you kind of flip a coin, right? I feel Hill could show up. She could look amazing. You know, she could still have enough in the tank, end up getting the win. And it could be a situation where, you know, the young gun comes through and the young gun's kind of value. So the line kind of feels kind of fair to me. Yeah. Foul says, yeah, main event will be good. I wonder if Gregory can go 5 rounds. I think he beats Cannonier. I'll surprise Angela Hill. Angela Hill's a big favorite as she is. I have Souza winning. Cool. I think I'm more worried about I'm more worried about Cannonier's cardio. You know, he's an Asian fighter, etc. All right, got a couple people in here. No, yeah. Feel free to interact with the stream, guys. You know, you guys make the stream. You guys make things interesting. So yeah, let's try and load this up on the other side. Okay, so we got Avila versus Cavalcanti. Gotta agree with Cavalcanti being a, fairly big favorite here. I think Avila probably has like the big moment upside. It's a women's MMA fight, a striking fight. Cavalcanti kind of struggles to really put a stamp and kind of, I think she's good, but sometimes she can kind of like struggle to put like a real dominant rounds and bank like dominant rounds. I feel like she's kind of got like pitter patter shots, but overall we've got to favour Cavalcanti. She's been more active, she's not coming off post pregnancy. She seems way more serious about her career. I think Avila's probably just showing up for a paycheck. So yeah, got to go with Cavalcanti. Medium high confidence in that one. Volta Walker versus Dontel Mays. A lot of money's been coming in on Volta Walker. To me, this guy's a little bit kind of unreliable, man. Like, I'm not too passionate about backing him. Like that fight against who's the Polish guy, Lucas Brzeski. Yeah, like you could probably argue he could have won that one, but that fight was quite sketchy. It was way too close for comfort. It's a guy who he should really be dominating. And then he choked out Junior Taffer, who's got no ground game at all, bruv. Like 0 ground game. So he's expected to win that one. Came through. But at the same time, Dontel Mays, not really a guy I've ever been big on. Not really a guy I'm looking to kind of back with money ever. Just too kind of unreliable, too untrustworthy. Makes too many kind of bad in-fight decisions. So I have to agree with Volta Walker being a favourite because, has the grappling upside, wrestling upside. He's more likely kind of guy to win the minutes, win the rounds. But, betting him at 1.35, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. This one, Vince Morales versus Elijah Smith. This one's an interesting fight, man. A lot of money's been coming in on Vince. All the steam's been coming on Vince. I can kind of see it why, man. To me, Elijah's a little bit of an unknown. I suppose he's quite athletic. Probably hits quite hard. But Vince has been in there with some real killers. We go through his resume. He fought Taylor Lapilus a couple months ago. Top tier fighter. He fought Miles Johns, Jonathan Martinez. He's got a wealth of experience inside the UFC, but at the same time, this dude is not one that you can really kind of trust. He's very passive. He doesn't really fight hard for your money. He makes a lot of mistakes. Like, there's just a lot of things that you don't really like with the Vince Morales side, but yeah, feels kind of 50-50 to me. I follow the steam. I think there's a lot of probably sharp action on Vince Morales to move the line this much, but not one that I'm really kind of keen to bet on. Onyx says, "What's up?" Hello, Lewis. Sorry. What's going on, Onyx? Hope you're doing good, bro. Thank you for joining the stream today. Super duper appreciate it. Hope you're doing good, man. Hopefully you train half your fight as well. So next fight here we got Gabe Bonfim versus Chaos Williams. I think a few fights ago I was way more kind of higher on Bonfim. I thought he could make a real push inside the division. I thought he had that kind of like it factor, but kind of got broken against Dalby. Really kind of fatigued and broken there. But he's got like a good boxing skill set. I'm a little bit kind of skeptical on him still. He came through against Lusa. I thought he dropped round 1. I think it was it. I can't remember exactly, but I think it might be like a 30-27. Don't know about that one. I thought round 1 was close. I probably agree with Bonfim being the favourite. I do. I think you probably would line Bonfim as a favourite, but Chaos hits like a truck. Not really one I'm kind of interested in from a betting perspective. I think the line's fairly steep for what you're getting. I don't think Chaos, is out of the fight. I think he's probably live to kind of land a big shot, hit hard. Yeah. Foul says, I think Smith will bring it and get the win. That's how I see him winning as well, man. Him bringing it, coming forwards. Definitely can see it, bro. I'm not confident on either side on that one, man. Some fights, you don't have to put money on them. Like, I don't want to be putting big money down on either guy. Onyx says, doing well, cheers. Glad you're doing well, bro. Excited for the Cars co-main, man. A few people said that they're excited for that one, man. I'm quite surprised just because of how big of a favourite Zalal is. Like, he's a massive, massive favourite. Camera's gone off. That's not good. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Sorry, boys. The energy's not really there, man. Just recovering from a brutal cold, bro. I hope you guys, keep well, all that stuff. Rafael Estevam versus Jesus Aguilar. I think Aguilar probably needs to get like a submission, get a guillotine in round one. I agree with Estevam being like a big favorite here. I think the bookies, they probably open the line a little bit kind of too like open, 1.50 range for Estevam. That's a bad opener. Got to go with Estevam. I think he's pretty good. One thing I'm a bit worried about is that he hasn't fought in a while, has he? His last fight was in November 18th in 2023 against Charles Johnson. But yeah, got to go with Estevam. Not really big on Jesus Aguilar at all. He got a submission win against who's the guy? Stuart Nickel. Nickel's a big favorite there. But yeah, that's probably his path, getting like a round one submission. But I think most of the value's being extracted from the betting line with the Estevam side. OJ Shorty says, let's effing G. Let's make this money, man. Yeah, hopefully, bro. Hopefully we can grind out some money. That's the goal, man. But obviously, not every card's going to be super duper profitable. Some cards you might break even, slight loss, but as long as you're trending upwards, that's what that matters, man. Long-term game, investment mindset. Love watching Zalal fight. Entertaining. Yeah, man. He's been leveling up, dude. I think the first time he got cut from the UFC, I thought it was a little bit harsh. I think he went to a draw with Blackshear, where he arguably won that fight. So, he's had a hard road, man. And I think when the guys get cut from the UFC and they go back in, I think that builds like character, makes him like a stronger fighter. All right, next fight here, we got Angela Hill versus Ketlin Souza. So this fight here, we know what Angela Hill brings to the table. High pressure, Muay Thai, good in the clinch, well-rounded. Even though her record's 17-14, that record don't really do her justice. I've always liked Angela Hill. I've always liked backing Angela Hill in certain matchups. Angela Hill's been a bankroll booster, but she's starting to get up there in age. She's 40 years old. Father time. It's a young man's sport. At the end of the day, Ketlin Souza, I think she's kind of physically getting better. She's physically looking kind of more refined, looking, she's putting some muscle on, looking like she's getting better. I say that with a question mark just because we don't have too much sample size. That fight against Haragi, even though I think Haragi's like legitimately really good. I think her striking's really good. I really like her boxing. She has no chin, bruv. But I'm gonna have to side with I'm gonna have to side with youth here with Ketlin Souza. Gonna go with youth. Conor Matthews versus Jose Miguel Delgado. Gonna be butchering that. Gonna go with Jose here. The betting line reflects the confidence, right? Not too big on Conor Matthews at all. I think his mush of the week is Jose, so maybe I'm wrong there, but you have to go with Jose overall. I just think he's probably the better fighter, just not big on Conor Matthews at all. We've got Rodolfo Vieira versus Andre Petroski. I'll go over some comments here. Onyx says, I think Souza gets the finish here. I think there's a chance. I think Angela Hill's pretty hard to finish though, man. But obviously, age catching up. Her chins are kind of unreliable in MMA. She could get hurt by a big shot, right? OJ Shorty says, I like this fight going a distance. Angela Hill versus... let me check the price on that. over is 1.22. Yeah, I favor the over, but I don't think there's any value on the line, dude. I think the line's fairly accurate. Onyx says He also says maybe. Yeah, big ups all the 12 viewers in there. I know it's a late live stream. I think in America it's probably like 12 p.m. or something. So a lot of you guys probably having lunch and stuff. We're on Vieira versus Petroski, right? Yeah, I agree with Vieira being a favorite just because, you know, I think he is probably the more kind of technically refined BJJ player, the BJJ wrestler. But I don't really find Rodfollow Vieira too trustworthy just because of his gas tank, his cardio. So I agree with Vieira being a favorite, but he's not really one that I'm looking to kind of bet back at odds of 1.37. Don't trust him enough at that kind of line. You know, if Petroski's able to make a dogfight, able to survive, you know, able to grit it out, take it into round 2, round 3, then he could be live. But, you know, you've got to kind of have Rodfollow Vieira as the favorite, as the more likely winner, just because his BJJ is high level. He's got the early upside, early potential. So I think all the advantages are kind of being baked into the betting line. Val says, I think Souza gets the finish too, likely sub. If it happens, she got a sub in her last fight, right, against Yaragi. So yeah, you know, she's got a few subs. You know, she could be improving. She could land a big shot, get behind the back. I don't know if she gets a sub. I don't know if she's going to be able to like take her down, double leg, single leg type of thing. I think it's probably more likely going to come from like a big shot. OG Shaw D says 12 p.m. in America. LOL. Big ups to you for being live again. Now, big ups to you for joining, dude. Super duper appreciate it, man. Onyx says Rodfollow is an insane grappler. Yeah, man. I think he's like a 3rd degree BJJ black belt, something like that. So like his BJJ accolades are serious, but it's the kind of being the gas tank, the cardio that's let him down inside the UFC. Val says very distinguished in his awards, dude. He has like 15 gold medals in world class jiu-jitsu comps. Yeah, I mean, serious credentials, right? When it comes to wrestling, well, when it comes to the BJJ. And Onyx says he's like a pound for pound at ADCC. I will move on to the next fight. We got Ismail Bonfim versus Nazim Sadykhov. So yeah, another one where, you know, I managed to get down a couple £100 on Bonfim around 1.62, which is like less than like half a unit, you know, 0.33 units, 0.25, 0.4. I can't remember. I have to do a money count, but I think he should probably be the favorite just because I do think he's kind of more refined fighter. I think he's more technically proficient. But at the same time, he's not one where I'm like super duper confident in Bonfim. I think how Sadykhov wins is by making a dogfight, by coming forwards, kind of, you know, making Bonfim uncomfortable, looks to kind of break him in a similar path to how Benoit Saint-Denis did it. But I have to agree with Bonfim being a favorite just because I do think he is the more kind of refined fighter. I think if you target Sadykhov's side, it's probably one that's better to target from like a live betting perspective, while on a pre-fight perspective, I'd rather side with Bonfim, who I just think is the more technically refined, better fighter overall. I'll go over to some comments. Perk Slushy says, is it a bad time to be an American wrestler? Rodfollow by sub round 2. Yeah, definitely a possible outcome, dude. Tell that to Bo Nickel. I mean, Bo Nickel's standing and banging last fight. OG Shorty says, American wrestling about to get, I don't want to swear on YouTube. Once again, like Guru said, they talk dreams on these guys. Go to Georgia or Dagia for 2-3 years and forget. I mean, the Daggies, you know, it feels like UFC's kind of going in a way where they don't really want these dudes resting. They just want kind of entertaining fights where guys stand and bang. feel like wrestling's becoming slowly a bit of a dying art. Even like how they score fights, right? It used to be like, a couple of years ago, and you get a takedown with like 1 minute to go in the round. That was enough to secure the round, win the round. But now it's like all about, damage and landing big shots on the feet. All right, we got Edmund Shahbazyan versus Budka. I mean, this is a layup spot here for Shahbazyan. UFC, I don't know why they still like him. I definitely have to favor him. I think he's the better fighter, more experienced. Definitely the better striker, and especially in round 1.5 rounds. Like Shahbazyan's super duper dangerous, but he's a guy who gasses out, he flakes out. He's quick, he's prone to making mistakes. He's pretty untrustworthy fighter. So I don't want to go too crazy on the betting line, but I've got to favour Shahbazyan. I think if you target Booker, he's better to kind of target from like a live bend perspective. You keep an eye on Shahbazyan's gas tank, his cardio, whether he's slowing down. But yeah, you got to have Shahbazyan as a favourite. It feels like a tailor-made matchup for him in the sense where UFC is setting him up for a good win. But at the same time, you have to kind of know what you're getting yourself into with Shahbazyan. He can definitely let you down, dude. So yeah. All right. So we got Kattar versus Zalal. I've got to go with the youth of Zalal here. I think the line's a little bit wide, to be honest, because this line's kind of saying that Kattar's completely done. And, if Zalal is perhaps unable to take the fight down to the ground, mix up the wrestling, mix up the grappling, and get Kattar worried about the wrestling, the grappling, and if it's just a 15-minute striking fight, I feel like Kattar's probably live. Even though Zalal's a good striker, he's able to kind of stand on the outside. He's got good in and out of movement. He's definitely a younger, fresher fighter. He's filling out into his frame. But, 36 years old for Kattar, you got to favour Zalal in it. You just got to. He's the rightful favourite, in my opinion. So we go main event time. We got Jared Cannonier versus Robocop Rodrigues. Gonna have to go with Robocop here. I know he could get chinned, but I feel like he's the fighter peaking. I feel like he's the fighter who's in his prime. I think he's been leveling up fight to fight. I think he's getting better and better. I think Cannonier's on a clear decline. I think he's 40 years old. He got dinged against Imavov. He slowed down in that one. I know Imavov. I love Imavov. I bet him against Adesanya. Always like Imavov, but Cannonier went a lot to the wrestling, to the clinch game there. He did not feel comfortable striking with Imavov. You could say early finish, which I tend to agree with, but his brain was getting rattled. And then a few months later, he took a fight against another killer in Caio Borralho. Yeah, he had his moments, without question, he had his moments. I remember watching that live, had a pre-bet on Borralho, and the lines were kind of tightening up. And was it round 4, round 5? I can't remember which round, but Cannonier basically got knocked out. Like that was it round 4, round 5? I can't remember. You guys probably can let me know in the comments, but he basically got knocked out. And now a couple months later, he's taking a fight against Robocop. Yeah, Robocop's the side to be on. Obviously, Cannonier could land a big shot. Cage fight to the death. Anything can happen, but I think you just want to be on the Robocop side. Just the career trajectories. He's leveling up. He's got a really good skill set. Powerful boxing, explosive, good athlete, can mix up wrestling, can mix up grappling. Yeah. All right. I'll go over comments, etc. If you want to interact with me, ask questions, whatever. Angela says, late to the party. Sorry, I have to watch back now. No worries, man. No worries, Angela. Really appreciate you tuning in. Onyx says, I feel like the fight will be competitive, but Zalal will get the win. That's kind of how I feel as well, man. I think the fight could play out very competitive, but you still got to kind of favour Zalal as the more likely winner, right? Perk Slashy says Georgia is taking over. I'm assuming you're talking about the wrestling scene. There's a lot of good wrestlers coming out of Georgia. We don't have a wrestling scene over here. I know wrestling's a big deal in America. So, yeah, wrestling's a big advantage in MMA. It's definitely a good base to kind of build your style, build your game around. Onyx says Islam's the only hope for Dagestan specifically right now. I think there's some. I know Umar lost, but I still think he's a really good fighter. But if you're talking like champions and greatness and legacy, Islam's the best shot, right? He's, if you had to put your money on it, Islam's the guy. But yeah, those Dagestanis are built different, man. I think Ankalaev, is he from Dagestan or Russia? And he's fighting for a belt, right? If he loses to Topuria, it's over. Yeah. I mean, imagine if anyone's holding the pressure, it's going to be Islam, right? Because Topuria is the one moving up in weight. It's probably less expected for him to win. If he loses, he's already got like a built-in excuse, like, yo, like, I'm the smaller guy. So yeah, all the pressure is on Topuria. Sorry, on Islam. Yeah, that'll be a fight to remember if it happens 100%, man. Cannonier got laid out against Kaio, should be stopped. That's what I'm saying, man. He basically got knocked out against Kaio, and it was a bad one, man. He went out cold. Like, no clue how they let that fight go on, but it's only been like 5 months since that fight happened. Now he's taking a new one, so yeah, I don't like that for him. I think Topuria beats Islam. Too much power and stocky build, says Perk Slashy. I have to look into the fight, but I don't have a strong opinion on it. It's a high level fight. Got to imagine it's a striker versus grappler matchup. But yeah, we like Jacqueline Cavalcanti line. OG Shorty says it's the line bad on Cavalcanti, minus 725 on the books right now. Trying to look for a plus 100 parlay. I mean, I think the line's accurate. I think most of the value's been extracted. Like, I got some personal bets on Cavalcanti. I parlayed him up with Zalal, but I could only get down a couple $100 before the lines moved. Obviously, if you've got bet online, you can get down as much as you want. But yeah, I've got like a little personal action on it. I think she should be the more likely winner, but I think most of the value's been extracted from the line, man. I think the line's accurate. Onyx says Ilya too small, Islam next level on the ground. He'll take Ilya in deep waters, is in my opinion definitely a possibility. 100%, man. You got to favor, if the fight goes into round 3, round 4, round 5, you got to imagine you got to favor Islam, right? We've got 19 viewers in here. Big ups to everyone. Onyx says Ilya could KO him standing, which is a very legit concern. I mean, Ilya's got big power, bro. Big power. So, and his boxing skills, very crisp, powerful, clean. So yeah, 100%, man. Even though Islam's striking is really like leveled up and it's really technical and it's clean, and you can see the striking exchanges being competitive. Like, you got to imagine if I was in Islam's corner, I was cornering him, I'd be like, dude, let's not really play around on the feet. Let's take this guy down. Topuria grappling too slick, and he can find the chin. Topuria was landing over and over. I mean, the Topuria fight wasn't a good look, but Islam had staph, right? He had like a staph infection. He looked like a watered down version of himself. So you got to kind of consider that. Well, I can see everyone's been talking about this Islam versus Topuria fight. This is probably one of the most kind of anticipated fights inside the UFC. Cool. I'll let the chat build up for a bit. If you guys want to ask questions, have discussions, I'm all yours for the next half an hour or so. Perk Slushy says, now yes, if he goes into a 16-fight win streak in modern era in one of the divisions, he's one of the GOATs. Who's on? Is it Islam or Topuria? I can't remember, but yeah, I mean, I feel like Topuria and Islam are like modern day GOATs, right? But the thing is, like, the perceptions can change really quickly. Like, let's say everyone kind of considers Islam as one of the GOATs or Topuria, but they take one loss and everyone's kind of low on them. And they'll be talking about former GOATs, right? So yeah, the perception of the fight game just can change in an instant. OG Shorty says, a lot of Brazilian versus American action on this card. What do you like with Rodfolo? Are you talking like parlay pieces? I mean, I think the lines are fairly accurate, man. Like, you know, I don't really see a lot of value on the lines. Like, I agree with Jose being 1.20 favorite. You know, if I'm parlaying up something, I like to get value on both lines. Who's like the most confident pick? Yeah, trick. I'm gonna think about that one for a bit, but who wouldn't like parlay that? I'll give you who I wouldn't really parlay. I think I would, even though Shahbazyan should win, like 1.20 on a guy who gasses, who quits, who slows down, you know, who's prone to wilting. Even though I don't know if Budka can make him quit, it's not really one I'm too interested in parlaying up. Probably not too keen on Bonfim as a 1.50 favorite. I'm talking about Gabriel Bonfim over Chaos Williams. I just think Chaos Williams is probably too dangerous. But we've got 27 viewers in here. Big ups all the viewers, man. Super duper appreciate everyone tuning in. The 16 win streak is a for sure crazy accomplishment. Yeah, no, man, is a serious accomplishment, right? Because I mean, most guys struggle to get 1-2 wins inside the UFC. So for a dude to, you know, get 16, it's crazy, man. It just shows you how skilled he is. Where do you have Islam now? What, in pound for pound? It's got to be him and Jones, right? Or if you're talking GOAT status, he might have. Habib is one of my all-time favorites, but he's probably overtaken Habib now, just because he's been more active, and I think his skill set might be better as well. Islam top 5 for sure, says Perky. Gotta agree with you, yeah. Perk says, I would say Ilya would come as a plus 200, plus 300 underdog. I think the lines are out on that fight. I checked Bet Online. I'm sure they have a line on it already. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm way off, but big profile fights like that, the bookies like to put the lines out early, try and get the action in, try and tie people's money down, and try and get like the most kind of accurate line possible. And they haven't got a line. You've got to imagine. Actually, they do have a line. All right. So, oh wow. So Islam Makhachev is a 1.25 favorite. So he's 80% implied probability, or I think in American odds that's like minus 400. So yeah, I wouldn't be interested in parlaying up Islam just at minus 400. It's a dog or pass situation just because Topuria is too high level. He's too skilled. I don't see any value on the Islam Makhachev side. It's a dog or pass. So minus 400 on Islam. I would have him as a favorite, but it was steep. OJ Shorty says, thanks so much for the tips, Dad, man. Appreciate you tuning in, dude. Onyx says, plus 150 to 200 KO max and Volk is a crazy feat. Yeah, man, that's serious, bro. Ilya's serious, man. I think public perception would make Islam the heavy favorite because of size. You mean you got to favor the size, right? Especially when it comes to grappling exchanges. So, OJ Shorty says Khabib really had 3 to 4 more fights in him. It was so sad to see him go. Yeah, I agree, man. Like, if Khabib, with his skill set, with his wrestling and grappling, like at the time, I didn't see anyone beating Khabib, but no one. So he could have easily stayed inside the UFC, gotten a couple more like easier wins, and really kind of cemented his legacy. To me, Khabib's one of the all-time greats, but no one kind of sees him like that. Nobody sees Khabib as one of the all-time greats, which is kind of sad because of how I think his wrestling is so technical. Like there's no one beating him inside the UFC, inside the lightweight division. Obviously, you know, title fights that can be unpredictable, but he definitely had a couple in him for sure. Onyx says he wouldn't have fought Usman though. Yeah, I don't. If you talk about Habib, I doubt you would have fought Usman, and they got the same management, and Usman's probably got the size advantage. That would be a hard fight. Perk Slushy says, "Do you cover prop bets?" I mean, if I see like a clear cut path to victory for like a particular fighter, let's say I bet on Islam Makhachev, just argument's sake, and I think, the only way Topuria wins, well, I say only way, anything could happen, is Topuria KOing him in round 1, then I might bet it as a little bit of cover. But you don't want to go too big on the covers because, like, you don't want to dilute your profits. And also, MMA is kind of unpredictable. But I do like to have cover bets time to time if the path is clear cut and the price is good enough. But if you're talking like prop bets, like let's say Islam to win by decision, I don't really like to cover those. I only really like to cover like money lines, unless it's obvious where like maybe you could kind of like an arbitration where you think, both guys are only going to win by decision. Then you might have one plus 150 Islam decision and plus 200 Topuria decision. But yeah, ideally in betting, you just want to make things as simple as possible for yourself because it's too difficult, man. Good question, though. I really like that one. OG Shorty says, "What do you think about Triple C fight?" I think that's going to be a banger. I think Song's going to smoke him, bro. I think Triple C should not be fighting. I know he's got a big name, but if you want to talk about messing up the bag, like, dude gave up double champ status for a negotiation tactic. He retired at like the worst possible time. Like, his ego got too big, I think. And Dana and UFC was like, "Oh, we don't really care if you retire." And then he came back a couple of years later. It's out of the game. You can see the ring rust. You can see his reflexes are not really there as much. Well, I think Song is peaking. I think Song's a top prospect. Like, he's like 26. I suppose you could still call him a prospect. He's probably faking his age. He's probably faking his age, but yeah, I think I like Song in that one. Triple C underrated legend, man. I kind of agree. Double champ status. The skill set in his prime. He had a really, really good skill set, but he retired too quickly. He retired too soon. Like, him giving up the belts and retiring for a negotiation tactic when he had both belts, bruv. That was just, yeah. Like, bro, till this day, he regrets that decision. AR Smith says, "I got Delgado at minus 230. Do you think it's worth it being that is his debut?" Obviously, every single bet carries risk. Like, let's say even if you cap someone at like 80%, so you think there's a 20% chance they lose, that's still a 20% chance that you're going to lose your bet, right? That's still significant. That's why you have to manage your risk carefully. I don't know how much you got on it, but if you're like really, really panicking, you probably have too much money on it. You want to keep your stakes sensible, long-term game. But I think it's a decent bet because minus 230, that's like 1.44, 1.46, something like that. And now he's 1.20. So I would probably let it ride just because you've beaten the line so much. But if you're feeling a little bit too nervous, you might have too much money on it. Maybe you reduce your stake a little bit. But yeah, I think you made a decent bet, man. Like, not every single bet where you secure closing line value is going to be amazing bet, easy hindsight value, but it's probably the right side to be on, man. Honestly, so sad about Cruz to pull out and retirement. Font would have pieced them up. Yeah, man. I was going to bet Rob Font in that one, Onyx. Dom Cruz, one of my favorite fighters, man. When I first got into the sport, like, I really, really loved him, but too many injuries, man. He's getting up there in the age. And Rob Font looked solid. And now they got Rob Font. He went from facing like a declining legend, the big name, to fighting an up-and-coming killer. So yeah, they done Rob Font no favors. So Hudovo's Song would be good though. Hopefully, man. Hopefully. OG says, yeah, it would have been easy money for Rob Font. Yeah, I agree, dude. I agree. Onyx asks, Sugar versus Sandhagen or Sugar versus Yan to 5-rounder? That's a good question, man. I think I'd rather see Sandhagen. I just think that we've seen the Yan fight. And I know people say robbery and stuff, but it was quite close. It was really competitive, but we've never seen Sandhagen versus Sugar. And it's a completely different matchup dynamic. You got two kind of elusive strikers. That's a sick fight, man. I hope they make it, but I think the UFC, they want to push Sugar. They'll probably give him like an easy matchup. They'll probably give him like, I don't know. They'll probably bring Dom Cruz out of retirement to face Sugar. Nick Saucy says, just joined. Sorry if you covered this, but what's your opinion on Elijah Lewis versus Vince Morales? I mean, first of all, no, thank you for tuning in, dude. I mean, you can roll it back. I mean, not really one I'm too interested in betting. I'll follow this team. I'll go with Vince, but I don't say it with overwhelming amount of confidence. Like Elijah can really kind of dog it out, push it, come forwards, make it an uncomfortable fight for Vince. You know, Vince is not that reliable as a fighter. He makes a lot of mistakes. You know, yeah. Perk says Cruz deserved a better send-off fight than Rob Font. Never liked Cruz that much, but the Aldo fight should have been made. I think the Aldo fight would have been worse for him, man, because Aldo's still looking really, really good. He's got legendary takedown defense. Like, he's probably the better striker. You know, he's less injured. I think Aldo would have smoked him, bro. OG Shorty says he's underrated, but if you think back about it, he really had his time. If you think about it, if he wins against Song, I think he will be back. Yeah, if he wins against Song, you know, that'll be a big win. He'd definitely be back. But yeah, I don't know. You know, there's no happy endings of the fight game, right? Got to kind of lean towards Song. Anyways, boys, super duper appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm going to call it a day. Everyone's kind of peacing out the stream. Thank you so much for everyone like tuning in, interacting with the stream and that. And good luck with your bets.